Am I the a-hole? My fiancé told me this is it. Take it or leave it. So I gave him the ring back and told him to get out of my house. My fiancé Tom, a 37-year-old male, and I, a 28-year-old female, have been together 2 years. He moved into my house 6 months ago and proposed a month ago. I thought we were solid, but now I am questioning everything. I inherited a fortune 3 years ago. It changed my life, but I live below my means. I work part-time as a teacher, travel, and have a non-profit in the works. I budget carefully so the money lasts. Only my dad and sister know the full amount. When Tom moved in, I paid everything except most groceries. He wanted us to eventually buy a bigger house together so his dad could move in. I said no to living with in-laws, but suggested maybe a separate unit someday. He pushed back but agreed we needed to discuss finances first. Tom earns approximately $10,000 per month and has $100,000 saved. I have millions invested and about $40,000 per month income from it. When I told him, he was shocked. He said if I have so much, why not just buy the house and cover everything? I explained that just because I can does not mean I should. I proposed separate finances, a joint account for expenses, and splitting costs proportionally to income. I also told him I wanted a premarital agreement. That is when things blew up. He argued we should be equal partners, meaning I buy the house in both our names even if he does not contribute. We fought about this for days. Eventually he gave me an ultimatum, a final offer. You buy the house, we each own 50%, I will sign the premarital agreement, take it or leave it. I asked if that meant breaking up if I said no. He hesitated but said yes. So I left it. I took off the ring, told him it was over, and that he needed to move out. He backtracked, saying he did not really want to end things, just wanted me to agree. He accused me of throwing away our relationship for money. I told him he threw it away by demanding I fund our life and give him half of assets I work to protect. Now I am wondering if I sabotaged my relationship. I love him, but I do not think it is fair to bankroll a grown man or accept ultimatums about my own money. Am I the a-hole? A commenter said, the first dumb thing you did was tell him the amount of money that you have, because even if you all do stay together and eventually get married, he's going to be constantly thinking about that money and trying to find ways that he can get as much of it that he can. You all got to learn how to stop running your mouth so much. I understand that you kind of got to let your mate know a little bit, but he did not need to know exactly how much money you have. Men can be just as greedy as women. Let a woman find out that a man has got a bunch of money, she is going to do everything in her power to get as much of it as she can. It is going to consume her. Men can be the same way. I think you breaking up with him was probably the best thing to do because your marriage will be all about money. Opie replied, I agree with you. I normally do not talk about money or share this kind of information, but since we were engaged, I honestly thought it was only fair for both of us to understand where we stood financially. I realize now that it might have been a mistake, but at the time I truly believed I was doing the right thing for our relationship. A relevant comment said, it was the right thing to do before getting married. Legally, when you get married, a lot of financial and legal relationships kick in. You have to lay your cards on the table before making this kind of commitment. Unfortunately, large amounts of money can make otherwise nice people crazy. I also came into money, and I am lucky in that my husband is a reasonable and honorable person as well as being the love of my life. No grasping or ultimatums. I am sorry you had to go through that. Original poster. Your fiancé has shown you who he is. The money revealed his greed. I am so sorry. Not the a-hole. Protect yourself from a lifetime of him caring more about your money than you. Good luck. Original poster. Sincerely. Opie commented, when we first started dating, he understandably questioned how I managed my lifestyle on a teaching salary. I explained that I had a small inheritance which allowed me to buy my house and have some savings to live on. I admit I may have been wrong to be vague, but at the time we were just starting to date and I was not comfortable sharing all the details yet. My house is nice, but nothing extravagant, and during our relationship we always split expenses 50-50. It's dates, trips, everything. When he moved in, I offered to keep covering the utilities, since I was already paying them, and he would handle groceries. Things were fine until after we got engaged. I pushed for us to discuss everything openly before marriage, and we agreed on most things. About his father moving in, this is not something he wants right away, but he says eventually his dad would move in so he can take care of him. I adore his father, but I personally do not want to live with in-laws. His solution was that we should buy another house together, so he would feel like it is our home instead of him living in my house. I understood that perspective, but the new house would also have to be larger if his dad were to move in, which I am not comfortable with. About finances, initially, when we discussed buying another house, the plan was to contribute together. But once we started looking at what we could afford, we had to lay our finances on the table. When he found out my net worth, everything shifted. He said that if we split 50-50, we could not afford a bigger house, and since I had the means, I should buy the house myself, but it would still be our house. I told him that whatever amount he contributes would equal his share of equity in the property. Maybe I was naive, but until this point, I never saw signs of him being a gold digger. He never pressured me to pay for things and always split expenses fairly. That is why this change has been such a shock. Right now, I am locked in my bedroom, and I told him he can sleep in the guest room tonight but that he needs to move out tomorrow. We have not spoken since. That is where things stand. Thank you all so much for the support and comments, it means a lot. And just to clarify, this is a throwaway account I created for privacy reasons. Update 1. Wow, this blew up. Thank you so much for all your comments and support. This morning I woke up and Tom had made breakfast and asked if we could talk. He said things got out of control last night and he wanted to explain his side. He told me he was upset that I had lied about my finances and felt like I did not trust him. He said the money difference made him feel that I would always have more power in the relationship and that he might be vulnerable to financial abuse. He insisted that he was not interested in my money but wanted to feel that I would choose him over money. He admitted that he handled things badly and should never have reacted the way he did or given me an ultimatum. He said he felt lost and frustrated. The only thing he emphasized really matters to him is his father eventually moving in. They are very close, and he wants to take care of him as he gets older. He apologized, said he did not want to lose me, and told me he was willing to accept my conditions. I apologized for not being upfront about my inheritance, but I also told him I was not sure I could continue the relationship. His reaction last night felt entitled and manipulative, and I am afraid he was showing me who he really is. I told him I love him, but I am worried money will always be an issue between us. If he is already pushing for a house before marriage, what else might he push for later? I explained that the only way I could even consider continuing is if he agreed to a bulletproof premarital agreement stating that in case of divorce, he only leaves with what he contributed, nothing more. Agreeing to buy a house together, but his equity would reflect his contribution only. I also suggested options like a guest house for his father or a condo nearby, but not living directly with us. Creating a monthly budget where we both contribute proportionally to our incomes into a joint account for shared expenses, while keeping our separate accounts for personal money. Going to counseling together. He agreed to all of this. Still, I told him I do not know if I can trust him again and need time to think. He agreed to go stay in a hotel for a few days to give us both space. Right now, I honestly do not know what to do. Part of me sees his point and wonders if he just overreacted. But another part of me is afraid that if I ignore his behavior, I will be setting myself up for bigger problems in the future. I would really appreciate your help in figuring out where to go from here. A commenter said, change the lock of the house while he is at the hotel. I'm serious. Like you said, he is untrustworthy at this point. If you have a sick family member, you and your family look after that person. Dragging someone you've been in a relationship for 6 months into this is very weird, inappropriate, inconsiderate, and enforcing of him. Opie replied, thanks for the advice. I am calling a locksmith to change all the locks just in case. We have been together for 2 years, but only 6 months living together. A relevant comment said, please do not ever move a man into your home again. I know you were engaged, but next time look for a guy who owns his own home and has equity. I posted a few comments about people who marry to climb the property ladder. This guy has plenty of cash, or so he says, and could easily own a home or a condo somewhere. But he does not. He saw your nice home and figured he could marry you and get you to sell what you have, trade up, and he would be co-owner. Because once you marry and buy a new house, that is marital property. Do not do this again, please. You do not need to date men in your financial bracket, but find one who did what you have done, invest in a home for himself. The other issue is the age gap. He is 37 and does not have his own home. Red flag. His dad is living on his own now, but he wants him to move in. Dad is probably in his 60s and may be capable of living on his own for 20 plus years. I have a friend who is 86, a cancer survivor, and living on her own just fine. Find a man who shares your values and who is no more than 4 to 5 years older. 30 to 32 is a good range. If he does not own a house or condo, he is not for you because you need someone who is your equal, not in terms of net worth but in terms of financial values. Find a guy who would not quit his job even if he won the lottery. High school football coach, doctor, university scientist. Look at values. The lottery is 1.8 billion today, and if I won it I would still keep my job because I love my work.